what does an accessible and inclusive CS learning experience look like for you?
So the first thing would go back to what we talked about with universal design for learning. Was it designed for all the kids in the classroom from a pedagogical perspective? The second would be, are the tools accessible? And this is a major, major issue because accessibility is not a clear-cut thing. Some tools that are accessible for some kids are inaccessible for others, and the other way around too. So there's not this like checklist that works for every kid, but the tools have to be accessible to the students in the classroom. Earlier, you mentioned Stefik and some of his work around accessibility, and he has the Quorum programming language, and that's a fantastic tool for students who are low vision. I mean, he's done some work around students with learning disabilities with that too. And for those students, many of the programming languages are inaccessible, especially block-based programming environments, which you can't use any kind of text-to-speech at all in.
Right.
But for other students, the fact that the Scratch blocks, for example, have the color coding that they have, and they have the organization that they have, are exactly what they need in order to access coding, because it helps them really think about the organization of code. And they're also not stuck in the syntax of some students with print-based disabilities, where the syntax would just really be a challenge for them. So you have to think about who your students are, and then think about accessibility for those students in particular. So kind of this idea of what makes an inclusive, accessible learning environment is that combination of like universal design, accessibility, and then the third piece of it is that whatever individualized needs the student has beyond assistive technology or accessibility, those are in place. And so for students, many of the students we work with have accommodations, have IEP goals. And so the idea of thinking about those needs is also a piece of it. And then kind of surrounding all of it is the fact that the students feel like they belong in the computer science classroom. So that sense of belongingness is more than inclusion. Inclusion to me means you're in the classroom, you're accessing the material in the way that you're able to. But belongingness means that you feel like you're part of the classroom community, and that the people in that classroom community see you as part of that community as well.
This excerpt of the CSK8 podcast is from episode number 133, which is titled Accessibility and Inclusion in CS Education with Maya Israel.